Oh.
Hey guys. Wait.
I can't believe it. Bro, look at your fucking jaw head, dude.
Dude, why do I look like that? What are we doing?
We're just giving away
Why we
$3,000.
did not have $3,000 to give away.
Still don't.
Why we've decided to step into this, for me, and I'm sure Jaden shares the same vision here, but we want to change the game. Like Jaden said before, we don't want to be seen as just a gym, okay? Because at the moment, there's so many gyms around and anyone can sign up to a gym. Once you're in that space, are you capitalizing well enough on your systems and your programming to get you from, the point that you're at now to where it is that you're trying to get to? And if you're not, at the end of the day, you're essentially just wasting time. So what we have decided to bring together here is we want to handle your complete training journey from start to finish, and we're understanding that people might even just sign up for a 6-month period or a 9-month period, and then they achieve that goal that they're looking to achieve. They've obtained the knowledge to then be able to go out and work on these areas of their fitness by themselves.
Adding on to that, what Briggsy said, like I always speak to my clients about this. My goal is to get people out of PTing with me, which sounds weird at first, but I think we don't so much have an exercise problem, but we have an educational problem, because everyone knows that exercise is good for you. But for some reason, people still go to the gym, sign up to gyms, and they still struggle to get results. So that's where we've kind of come up with this idea and this value that we want to provide a space that people can come to. Not only is a really, really cool space to train, but we're guaranteeing people results, and we have a structure in place, and we have programs that are built out specifically for individuals that align specifically with their goals.
Probably the last thing to add to that is we want to simplify the journey of success, of your health and fitness journey as much as possible. And, Jaden and I, we've worked out, we want to handle everything for you so that you're literally turning up and you just have to put in the work. That's all you have to do. We're going to have minimum compliance standards that you have to hit to ensure that you actually get the results that we're, trying to achieve. Because at the end of the day, it is a two-way street, okay? We're going to be putting in the work, but you guys have to show up and make sure that you're doing your end as well. Oh, what's your thoughts on that?
Wow. 2 things that stood out instantly for me. Improvements on the casting couch. We've gone from a camp chair to a lounge. That's huge.
Things are going well at the hybrid headquarters.
Things are going
We've
very
moved
well.
from a camp chair
And the upgrade of socks too.
to a couch. I've
Upgrade
caught
of
on to
socks.
the trend that Jaden and primarily Adam set here, which is white socks, white shoes.
Can't have white socks and black shoes. You
Nah.
can't do it.
I did it once when I was squatting and I didn't hear the end of it. So
And you won't. We won't have that in our gym. What do you think? You think that still rings true now?
fuck. It's crazy looking back at that.
2.5 years in.
Yeah, we shot, so we've been open almost 2.5 years, and we shot that video maybe a little over 2.5 years ago. And so I think we were about a month out from opening, and we were starting to drop our marketing and starting to build up, that we were going to be open soon. And with that, we wanted to explain to people why we were going to be different, and our main point of difference is what we call a complete custom coaching experience. That's changed a little bit along the journey since we have opened to what we've now really consolidated into being our hybrid premium membership, which has just been our main sort of flagship membership for the last, since January this year. So pretty much almost a year. And we've kept it that way because it works. So looking back at that, for me, I'm proud of us and our team, because what we said we were going to do, we've done. And I truly believe we have a reputation in the health and fitness space as the gym to go to if people are looking for that extra level of attention to detail in regards to their programming and having everything specifically built out for them, which it is quite unique on the coast. There's stacks of gyms, as we spoke about in that. I think there's probably 4 or 5 more gyms that have popped up in our 5 to 10K radius, even over the past couple years since we opened, and they all serve their purpose. And our purpose has always just been our model, which is that, custom coaching approach. So yeah, I think the main thing that stuck out to me there was like, we've fucking done it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What about you?
No, I completely agree. It's to look back at that video. So 2.5 years, we were 25, 26 years old at the time.
25, yeah.
So coming into this space, I mean, we've been coaches. I've been a coach now for 7-8 years. You're probably a little bit longer than me, I think.
Funnily enough, we actually started
We started probably similar time.
Yeah, I still remember your headshot going up at the previous gym you were at.
Yeah.
With that hair tied up and that dirty little stash.
Oh yeah.
The stash is still there.
No, we forgot about that, I think. I think that photo doesn't exist anywhere on the planet anymore.
I'll make it pop up on the screen, don't I?
No, you won't. Yeah, looking back, I mean, coming into it, coaches, from an experience level of coaches, I like to think we had an idea of coaching itself, but running a business to that caliber, running a company, so to speak, was such a new playing field for us. It still is. To reflect back on that, even when we started, we had to figure out memberships and look at what, how memberships were. Come on in. You come on in,
Jenny.
Come on.
We're just going to be chatting away whilst you're training, if that's all right.
That's okay, as long as you don't mind me coughing.
That's all right.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, we got another straggler. Hold on. He's taking his
One
time.
more.
Come on.
Come on in, mate.
Are you
This is
shy now?
This is our VIP member. Brett. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, looking back, even with the memberships that we started with have changed so much, and we've consolidated into, over the last 2.5 years, finding out what works for people, what works for us as well, what people need. And that's been a massive learning lesson too. I mean, we've tried. No worries, mate. Yep.
Get out of here,
Get out of here. We've tried two to three different styles of memberships, I think. And just lessons learned. I mean, at the end of the day, we knew what we wanted to come into the space and provide. We knew what value we were providing as well, but we had to somewhat figure out with time to see like where that stood up within the fitness space and what people needed, what worked, what we needed to provide as coaches as well. And that's been a massive challenge for us over the last 2.5 years. I feel like right now we're as confident as we have been in the entire journey with the memberships that we have.
100%.
And just with the results that we're getting as well. But that was a big process in itself too. I mean, the values and what they stood for haven't changed along the way from when we first started to now. But just in the way that we're delivering them has changed. We've filtered a lot of things out. We've cut a lot of fluff out. We're focusing on things that do work instead of don't. And yeah, we started with three main memberships, didn't we, at the start?
Yeah, what do you reckon the reason or reasons were that our original model didn't hit how we expected it to?
That's a good question. I often think of the quote, "The man that chases two rabbits catches neither." And I think coming into a space, we knew the value of what we wanted to provide. We knew what worked in regards to getting results, but we had to wrap that up in a nice little present and provide that to people. And I think that's where we missed the target a few times with it, because we just didn't know. Like, we're just figuring it out along the way. I do believe when we did come into the market, what we valued our memberships at was still worth it. They were on the higher end, but being on the Central Coast, being where we are, being two young guys who, a couple of people knew us, but, don't have any sort of reputation. We're not a franchise or anything like that. You definitely still have to make your name. It's the same when we first started coaching, we coach for free for months. And I was charging like 20 or 30 bucks a session when I first started. So I think that was a big part of it as well, is you need time and enough evidence to show people that what you do works and they're willing to pay that price. So I think that working our way in first and then worrying about the value coming in later was probably might have been a better way of doing it. I don't know.
I agree.
Would you agree?
I do. I think that we 100% knew the value that we were bringing to the table. However, it's the market will only pay what they think is appropriate at the end of the day. And I think we stuck strong to that original model of our sort of 3 membership tiers at those price points, to the point where we were like, we have to make a bit of a change here, And looking back, like, was the first time ever doing this. So how we marketed things, was it the right way? Was it wrong? Who knows? You know, and there's no way that we can change that. And honestly, I wouldn't, because it's driven us to the membership approach and model that we take now. You know, so yeah, I think I agree with you.
It wasn't that it wasn't working either. I mean, it was working because we took on members. We were getting to a position where the membership was growing. It was just balancing the amount of value that we were giving there. We were also, both Mitchell and myself were in here 14 hours a day, almost every day, and coaching from 6 in the morning to 7 at night, which a lot of PTs will understand that. That's usually and typically how it happens, how it starts. But we also wanted to make sure that we created some form of a balance, and then in the future some form of a team as well, because we knew that wasn't feasible. And knowing the value we wanted to bring, that value would have dropped, knowing that just how many hours we were spending here and putting in. So it was more of a decision that we had to make sure the value that we were bringing and the time and effort of us being here had to align with the price that we marketed it at as well. And I think that's where a big change probably played out. And we wanted to try and reach a few different people as well. Like we still wanted to be on the high tier end. We wanted to be more of a premium service, but we still were in touch and had a lot of people who wanted to train out of a space like this, but didn't need that higher value offer. And we didn't really have a service or a membership like that to offer at the start. And so that essentially pushed us into that direction to focus on, well, how can we offer still a premium service with that value to people who need it, but then as well introducing some form of a membership where people still want to train out of a really good facility, which is I think what pushed us into this direction now.
Yeah, so it sort of led to, when we first opened, we had 3 different membership options at, let's say, a slightly higher price point. And then it moved us into changing our model and our memberships a little bit with the main introduction of our, what we called our Hybrid Plus membership, which the fair few of the members that are still with us today and that are now on our premium membership were utilizing the Plus membership at that time. And that was cool for the first bit, it was. And then we started to realize that we were almost customizing a pre-built plan. So that was the approach. It was a one-size-fits-all program, and we would have it in blocks. So it might be let's say an 8-week strength block, which would be delivered to everyone that's a part of the Plus membership. They would then get access to the coaching slots, which we still run today. However, everyone would be on the same workout for that session. But then we were finding that we were customizing it for each person, even though it wasn't really a customized program or membership, really. So I think the community aspect of that membership was awesome. You know, the camaraderie on the gym floor. We then, over time, sort of realized that we know if people want the proper results that they're looking for, the program ideally needs to be custom for them. And we still had that membership option. But yeah, as time progressed, it was like the back end of last year, maybe December, Jade and I sat down and we were just like, I think we need to pull the Plus membership, which was that middle one, and really go down 2 routes that we think is going to please everyone. And they can then choose based off what's included in each membership. If they want complete customization, which is our hybrid premium membership, access to all of our coaching slots on the floor, or maybe they just want an awesome space to train at, as well as pre-built programs, which is our everyday membership. So you've almost got these like sort of 2 tiers, which we truly believe does meet everyone's needs. It's just dependent on what they're looking for.
Yeah, the Plus membership was our way of trying to join essentially that class element, which went on a class-based gym, and we knew that early on. We originally started with all the memberships having some form of custom programming in it, and that's what we ended up coming back to. So we come back to what we knew worked and what was right. We just wanted to try and include more of a sense of that community drive in regards to training, and that was where we sort of realized a lot of people were starting to train together and wanting to train together. So we sort of brought that together, created not a spin-off membership, but a one that sat in between the two, where people were getting still a good program. I mean, I built a beginner, intermediate, advanced. I built a 3, 4, 5 day one. So there's still like a level of customization in it, but it was more of they followed it together, and it was trying to build that more of a community aspect. You come in, you train together, similar to what you do in a class. And it worked and it was fun, but it also took away from that customization that people needed, and it's that inch and a mile. You know, a few people needed a few more changes, or people wanted something a little bit different, but they sat in between that, needing the custom programming and then wanting that community vibe, which is what led us to essentially building our premium membership now, which almost combines the both of those things, where we have our coaching slots now. So it's almost like a class vibe, but people are following their own programs, which creates a really good level of independence for them as well, because they're training towards the goals that are important to them, but they still get that class and community aspect in regards to when they come in and train, which is super important to us as well.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know, what did you think running a gym would be like, and what was the reality?
What do we think running a gym would be
Take
like?
it back to before we even almost didn't get off the ground with even opening a gym.
Far out.
It was a big journey. I think for me, it was definitely rose-colored glasses. The idea was so exciting, and the process was so exciting, and the building was so exciting. And then you realize there's just outgoings.
Just
outgoings.
a lot of outgoing. So to put this into perspective, I think a lot of people, based off our relationship now, think that Brigger and I have known each other for a long time, but I think prior to the gym opening, I went and introduced myself to Briggsy at an event because we hadn't met each other, but we'd sort of crossed paths. And after that, we went and caught up for a coffee, and we just got along really well, similar interests, same jobs. And then we started talking, which I always had this idea of wanting to open a gym. It was something I always wanted to do. And Brigger was working out of his garage at home. He had an idea of opening up some form of PT studio, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so this is where this idea came about. But this was like a month after meeting each other. So this wasn't we've known each other for years, and then we started to formulate a plan. This was like within 6 months of knowing each other, we had met, become friends, and started to plan to open a gym, which is pretty wild from the outside. Listening to that, people have thought we're pretty crazy, probably still are a little bit considering everything that we've done, but it was a very long process. Hello, how you going?
Come on in, jump in.
Yeah, come on in.
Here we have our most tan coach.
Hand.
Yeah.
Most tan coach. The queen.
You fit in a lot better there than Brett does.
All right.
I'm trying to think back to when we first started. God, there's so many layers to it going back. We were very fortunate that we got in contact with some people we knew to then get an idea of potentially getting a place in here, which we were initially in a different unit. We were meant to get access into here in 2021 or 2022. And there were delays due to weather and all the rest of it for 14 months, even longer.
The whole complex, all the units,
was just delayed.
It was just delayed because this area, obviously prior to construction, was prone to flooding. And then we just had relentless weather, relentless for month after month. And it was at the point where the developers were trying to pour all the concrete and get everything down, and it just naturally every time it rained, it just got pushed back. It was a bit of a nightmare waiting for it, eh?
And upon starting as well, we initially were going into it with 2 other people. So there was going to be 4 of us, and we started the whole planning, the whole journey. Things changed along the way, different values, different visions with things, and some setbacks, which was a process in itself to try and navigate to separate from that, because even through that time we'd started the whole process of actually setting up a company, buying things for the gym, buying things for the company, getting things organized. We'd just gotten access into the unit, and then those things changed along the period, and that in itself was a 6 to 8 month transition at least. I think when people see it from the outside, you're always seeing the highlights and just the highlight reel, especially through content. It's a very easy way of thinking that it's just been sunshine all the way through. but we lost a fuck ton of money. Like a lot, a massive investment. And going off this as well, like this is all our money that we put in, like everything. I put every dollar of savings that I've ever had in my life into opening this. You did the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, to the point where when things didn't go, I guess, how we'd set out originally, you know, and then it was just Jaden and I, there was even talk of, you know, is it worth it?
100%.
Is it worth the mental, financial, emotional strain to continue to go down this route and almost have to restart the process, you know, because you have to go through that separation, you have to close everything down and ultimately open up a new company, new business and new branding and everything. Everything was from scratch. And that was like a couple of months out from due to be open. So the month leading up to actually opening was hectic. It was very, very hectic.
Because then as well, when you get access to a place like this, I mean, when you have to start paying rent, you have to start paying rent. So it's not like when you guys get on your feet sort of thing. It's like when the lease starts, it starts. So we're very much under the pump with that and in regards to getting started as well. But bouncing back from that was challenging. And I mean, even the first 6 to 8 months of operating, we're paying how much out of our pockets just to
$700 a week each.
$700 to $800 a week each.
So essentially $1,500 a week. This is before we even had a single member.
Yeah, that was just to cover the costs to make sure that we could still like operate and still run this thing. So
all the equipment that we bought, obviously we were paying that off at the time. Yeah, there was a lot. Which it's crazy. I think back on that, I haven't really sat, and this is why I'm enjoying this. I haven't really sat and actually thought about that on a deep level, because I think a strong suit of mine is I'm prepared to just put my head down and just fucking keep going with stuff, especially when things get hard. And I reckon I did that through that period. I know you did the same, to the point where like almost blocked it out. You know, it was almost like what's happened has happened, and we're just gonna fucking put our head down and actually get this done. You know, and I think that approach, that ferocious mentality in a way to go, you know what, we see something great here that can happen, and we can see this awesome community that we want to build, and we're going to make that happen.
Completely agree. It's wild to actually reflect back on that. There's a period I remember coming into November and December of 2022, it would have been.
One of my first panic attacks.
Yeah. Same. We both like, quite literally, like I fell into a bad state of depression, and it was really tough to get out of. We lost a lot of money. We went through a lot of emotional turmoil with some things as well, and we just got to a place where we're like, this isn't even worth it. Like what we envisioned it to be, what we envisioned it to feel like, it just wasn't it. And even then, just almost going through 12 months of getting ready to open, and then feeling like you lose everything, and then having to start that again was such a hard process to endure. And I'm so thankful we did, but words will never be able to stress enough. It was this close to not happening.
Yeah, I remember it was that December, and I knew that you were just in a shit spot. I know that I was too, and I was down at our Christmas lunch, and for me, I haven't really had this experience since, and I don't believe I had up until that point, which led me to believe it was probably a panic attack. But I was sitting at my Christmas lunch, which one of my favorite things in the world is just spending time with my family, and always grown up around a big family on both sides, and just sitting there at lunch finished, and we're all hanging out, having a beer, and we just had so much stress over our heads at that time, and it felt like there was no light at the end of the tunnel. You know, like, because this was in the process of like, hey, are we going ahead with this? You know, like, are we going to do this? And we were sort of back and forth about it a little bit. I just had the worst feeling ever come over me, and I had to leave. I've never been like that especially in an environment where I'm around people that I only feel loved and supported by. I remember leaving that, talking to you about it, and you had similar experiences, and we were like, well, we need to make a call here, and obviously we made the right one, which was, you know what, let's fucking do this, because our vision was always so aligned, and where we wanted to take this space and this type of membership offering, being something different, bringing our skill sets together to create something that, I'm proud to say is quite unique. It was a tough decision, but at the same time, I think it was always in both of us that we knew we were just gonna get it done.
I like to hope that when people walk into the space and see us on the gym floor coaching, but even through our content, content's content, you can look at the highlight reel, but this place really means a lot to us because of what we've been through to open the doors. It hasn't just been a turnkey situation where we get the keys, walk in, everything's set up, happy days, memberships are good, and away we go. This has been the fucking hardest thing that we've ever done in our life. And so there's little moments every time when we walk through this door where we don't take it for granted at all, because it's really important to us. At the end of the day, we want to provide a good service. We want to provide people with results. We want to create healthier lifestyles, healthier habits for individuals, but it means quite a bit to us, because this is literally been our life, and we put everything on the line. We put personal relationships, we put friendships, we put financial stability, we put the risk going into this has been everything, absolutely everything. So yeah, it's a really important space for us, for sure.
For me, getting into the space before anything was here. I still remember we shot a video, selfie, I posted it not too long ago, and we look like young little whippersnappers in it. That for me, I was like, you know what? I know everything's gonna come with this in regards to the financial outlay, the amount of money we had to put into the equipment, the fit out, but stepping into this space, knowing it was ours, for me was, this feels right and this is gonna work. And I always had this belief in Jaden to really lead in that way as well. And you've done that, ever since we fucking opened, man.
Thanks, man.
It was this partnership outside of work, being our friendship and the integration of us becoming a part of each other's lives, has been one of the biggest blessings for me.
Agreed.
Hands down, one of the best relationships that I've ever had. And that moment of us coming in here together and just going, you know what, let's put our head down, ass up, and let's just fucking do it.
Yeah, as much as when we reflect back on such a challenging time with setting up the whole business, that whole process, Briggs and I didn't falter on our relationship with each other and our friendship. And I think it definitely made us stronger in that regard. And when we got to that point where we did get into space, I think for me I remember sitting in West Gosford signing the company name of Mitchell and myself and putting our names on it and having it as a registered company open, followed by then walking into this space and knowing that name was going to be on this unit. That was for me of once in, all in, there was no other option for it to not work. And knowing that we had every opportunity through what we went through to go back on each other and just go it's not going to work, it's too hard, we can't do this. So for us to be able to get through what we did and still be as close as we were and still show up for each other, it took a lot of doubt out of my head that we weren't going to be able to do this. It was just a matter of figuring out how. So I would say for me, that turning point was definitely when we both sat down and put pen to paper of registering the company and then walking into this space being this is it now.
The new company.
Yeah, the new company.
The third new company.
The third new company, yeah.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm, but...
Third time is a charm.
Yeah.
It lucked out like that for a reason.
Yeah, everything goes the way it's meant
So
to.
coming back to your question about how did I think it was going to be to run a gym versus actually running it, one of the greatest things I've ever done in my whole life.
Yeah.
Especially with where we're at now. It's taught me an unbelievable amount of resilience and hard work, and reinforced my belief system around ambition, things that I value so highly. And to be where we're at now is one of the most rewarding things ever, for sure.
Well, I'd like to hope that people watching this can take some sort of insight into, we weren't handed the golden spoon. We're not lucky. I still believe we've had a lot of amazing luck, but I think luck is created from taking opportunity as well. We've had a lot of amazing people who have supported us financially, supported us in regards to just the process as a whole.
People paying for memberships for like a year up front.
100%, like
just
that,
to try and like
that trust
get us
and
that
belief,
first
like we
reward.
don't take that for granted at all. And we'll always appreciate that. And that's what I mean in regards to luck. I feel like we've been very supported, but like it was hard. We put all of our own savings in. We didn't have a business layout. We created all of this ourselves by just having a go. So I think when people see it on the outside, they go, that would be nice to do. Like I wish I could do that. And you can. I don't want it to sound, it's not motivating at all, but people who sit on the sideline, the difference was that we were just willing to risk it and have a crack. Like we didn't have the money sitting in our lap or the place. Like we had to fight tooth and nail for every situation and everything we needed to do, like the whole process of setting up the gym, everything. It was really hard. Like it was a really, really hard thing to do. And I'm so glad that we did it. But we don't have anything special in that regard. We just did the thing. And I think if more people were willing to just have a crack and just do the thing, they would be in similar situations as well. But again, I think it's important for people to understand the process and the trials and tribulations of what we've also had to go through in order to get here, because it hasn't just been a smooth sailing situation. There's so many times we could have given up and probably should have at some time.
Dogged determination.
Yeah,
you know,
got
like
that dog.
I think something you and I were so aligned on at the start, which I do believe is extremely powerful, is this ability to be prepared to do something hard for a very long period of time, you know, and not expect instant gratification, financial gratification, just straight off the bat. And I think the way that we both started our coaching careers, PT, online coaching, and then moving into this, we had that same mindset, even though we didn't know each other at that point, of, hey, I'm prepared to do this for free, you know, like, and we still are. Like, truth be told, like, we're still not paying ourselves income from running this gym, you know. We have our own businesses outside of that, but it's just the reality of it, you know, and we're so prepared to just build something great and something big for a long period of time. And I think the membership base and the type of people that train here now have that same mindset. That's why they invest $90 a week into their health, because they understand that following something long-term, integrating their programming into their life to make these habitual changes to live the rest of their life how they fucking want to, from a health standpoint that they love, and they wake up feeling good about themselves and they're achieving these goals, and we work towards one goal and we simply move on to the next goal. You know, it's ever evolving. And I think our mindset for this business is the same. You know, I don't think we ever will reach a point where we're just like, yeah, perfect, everything's done. It's like, I know you and I have that same ambition to go, well, be content with where we're at, but like, what's next? You know, like, can we build, and how do we impact more people as well?
Yeah, proud but never satisfied.
Yeah.
That's a big thing as well. Like the whole time we were building the gym and still building now, like we're still working full time in our own businesses. Like we would come here, I would go and PT at the gym that I was working at, come here in my break in the middle of the day, build, do all the admin work, getting behind the scenes, organizing trades, go back in the afternoon, PT, then after that program, and then sometimes we were here till like 11 or 12 o'clock at night, like building things.
But it just had to be done, right? Like, it was like, we had people chipping in, don't get me wrong. The team, they just came in, everyone giving a hand. But at the end of the day, it's like we had a bit of a deadline that we put on ourselves and said, we want to be open by this point. End of May, which is a video of that. I was trying to say it was going to be earlier than that. I was very wrong. I was very wrong.
Yeah, nothing's changed on that part.
Yeah. I think it bleeds from, I would hope, us
Yeah,
and
I
the
was gonna say
coaching
same.
team, and then into the community. But what you see is what you get. And I've tried to live true to that in my personal life for certainly the last few years, if not the last probably 3 to 5 years, as I've been on my own journey of just, finding out more about who I am. But I think it does something special when members and our coaches know that as Briggsy steps into this space, that's who he is, and that's what I'm getting. And there's no mask, or there's no trying to be someone that I'm not. I think that level of authenticity is, again, powerful, because other people were like, okay, I feel safe to be like that as well. And we have this fucking awesome community where everyone is their own person. No one's trying to be someone else. Everyone's accepting of other people that are here. And then they're aligned, obviously, on the level of giving a shit about their health and fitness, because they're clearly wanting to be a part of a community like this, that other people are doing it. They're investing into their health. So, yeah, it's a bit of a buzzword, but I think authenticity for me.
I agree. I do believe as well, and like to hope that it bleeds from the top in regards to what we do, not what we say, but what we do, like our action. And then people seeing that from the outside, people seeing it from within the gym of, we try really hard to, that's why Briggsy got a tattooed on him, acting non-verbal, of like, actions, not words, of like doing what we say we're going to do and having that level of integrity. And I really do believe that bleeds into the space and the feeling as a whole. And people see that when people are training for marathons, for a high rocks event, for whatever the event that pops up, we're there with them. Like, we're actually doing the events too. So we're doing the thing. We didn't say at the start we wanted to open a gym and create this value and this community aspect, and then do that, but simply care about the numbers coming in the gym. Like, we haven't had a massive influx of members coming into the gym, but we're okay with that. Like, our doors open for the right people, but it's naturally trickling in. And I believe that really does bleed from what we represent and what our values are. Because if we lose that bleeds into the company, and that bleeds into the team, that bleeds into the business, the way it's run, and people see that. I mean, the very simple things. Briggsy and I still clean the toilets. Sounds dumb, but like, I actually spoke to Jake from G6 about this the other day. Like, if you get to a point where you think you're too good to clean your own toilets, then you've lost your way, sort of thing. And it's the same thing. We still do those jobs that got us to where we are now, from where we started, and we haven't lost that. So I think
off the ground, yeah.
I think that ties into authenticity as well. But I think it's those key values. Like, I believe we haven't lost ourselves along the way. We still are who we are from when we started, and we make sure we always come back to that. Even with building the team now, we wanted to build a team so we could provide a better service to more people, but we try and bleed that into the team as well, that we still have to lead from the front. At the end of the day, they're still relying on us to show up and do the right thing. And I believe we do that. We try really hard to stick by that. So to answer that question, what makes hybrid, I believe it's the values in our mission statement. We have our mission statement up on the wall here in regards to what we stand by. And aligning your action with what you say is the ticket. That's the key in regards. And I really do believe everyone has a bullshit radar, and they know when people say things but they don't do them. People see action, and they see like what's actually happening, and that's what people believe in. And I truly believe that's why people show up to our gym and get the results they do as well.
I think our sort of, at the bottom of our mission statement, we can put up a photo of it, but our sort of tagline is "Welcome to the home of the doers." And I think that encompasses that authenticity, integrity, especially. I'm proud of that. I know that we lead from the front with that. And you see it now, the amount of members that are pushing themselves to goals that they didn't think that they could do, or competing in events. The amount of people that we've got competing in this event next weekend is crazy. People that didn't want to run at all, and you don't have to come here to run. I'm not saying that, but it's this idea of oh, hold on, like other people are doing this. Why can't I? Why can't I give this a crack? And it's pretty special.
Relieving.
Well, yeah, we tried to buy it about a year in because the landlord wanted to sell, and we just weren't in a position for it. The bank said, look at these two young blokes with no financial support.
To preface that, we'd just gone through all of this process of just scraping in to get the gym set up. And then just under 12 months in, the landlords had an investment opportunity, so they were looking at potentially selling the unit, which put us in this fork in the road situation of if they were to sell it and an investor bought it, the rent that would probably inevitably pushed up to would not be something we could afford, or they sold it to someone who wanted to use the unit themselves. So we essentially, our hand had to be played that we had to see if we could try and buy it, which we definitely couldn't. We had only been operating for less than 12 months. You can't get any business loan for operating for 12 months. We didn't have any money anyway because we'd only just started, and it was a massive scare. Thankfully, that investment opportunity fell through and they didn't sell at that time, but it really solidified to us that uncertainty of, hey, we've put everything, we've put our heart and soul into building this place, and if it's that easy that it can just be taken away from us like that, we didn't want that fear. And it was just such a big realization for us of how quickly something can change, even no matter how much time and effort you put into it. So that really become a goal for us behind the scenes in regards to, after operating for 2 years, seeing if we could be in a position to look at purchasing it. We're very fortunate. We've had a lot of really good people in our corner from the support standpoint, who have helped us along that journey and been able to make this happen, which is fantastic. But yeah, I would say the one word that comes to mind is relieving. It's great in regards to, solidifying long term, and you can think of the investment, anything like that, but for us it was just to make sure that our space could stay here for as long as we wanted it to, forever.
Relieving would be the word as well. The moment for me was we were out for a run with one of our members, and we're really close with this member, and we were chatting about it. We're like, oh look, it's due to settle soon, a couple of days away, and then we're going to be there for good. And I just saw this look on his face of he was so happy for us, but then he was also like, that's so awesome for the 65, 70 members that are coming in here, knowing that they love coming here of a morning, middle of the day, evening, nighttime, whatever, because this is almost like their second home as well. So knowing that wasn't going anywhere for our members, for me, I loved that feeling. Everyone was pumped, so. They're doing it. They're doing it, I feel like we've almost bred this feeling and culture of people that, again, home of the doers, right? It's like a place that people give a shit about their training, their exercise, their health, pushing their boundaries, and being in around an environment like that, every day. I'd fucking pinch myself that every single day we're not only just around the coaches that are doing it, but now this awesome membership base that are living up to that standard as well. It's special, man. It's actually really special.
I spoke about this on a podcast that we did once in regards to, at the end of the day, we're very aware that we can't provide a service for everyone. We're for someone. And what I love personally is I can speak for both of us. We're not competing with other gyms because we need more. We need more gyms. We need more places of health where people can go to and feel part of community. And we can't provide a community that's big enough for everyone, as much as it would be amazing, but that's the reality of it. And so I really do believe that we all have this part to play in, if we can just build a space that provides a community for a number of people to come to and feel included, then we're doing our job. We have people who come into the gym now who would never talk to anyone in the gym. People who walk in who would have never had a conversation with people, who now go out on weekends together and grab coffee and have lunch together and catch up for sessions, and have literally created an amazing friendship through this space. And The space has simply just been a vehicle to actually get those people to the same place. And that's really special for us too, because it initially started out as myself and Briggsy trying to create that community for people, but now they're doing it themselves. And I think that's really cool, is it's a massive pressure off our shoulders, feeling like we essentially need to be those people for those members. And now they're doing it amongst themselves. And I think once you start that, culture and community is a feeling, it's a vibe. You can't buy it, you have to create it. And you create it with time, you create it by your actions, you create it by your attitude. And I think over the 2 years now, that's allowed us to actually build that community feeling. But I really put it back to the members, like they're creating it.
Yeah.
The way that they show up to the gym now and the way that they feel bleeds into the new people who walk in the door.
Yeah.
And they almost like pass that along.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hybrid is the community, right? Like this, what we have, yes, there's a fucking brick and mortar building that's sitting here, but the feeling of this space is because of the people that are in here, you know? So on a personal level, like the impact that this community has had on me, the relationships that I've built, yes, you know, when you really, really strip it back, it's like this coach-client relationship, but with the model that we run, it runs so much deeper than that. You know, we're doing the program and all that stuff, but we see them on the coaching floor pretty much every single night, you know, and some of the chats that I've had with members in this gym on a personal level, deeper than some of the people that I've had in my life that have been around for 10 years, you know, so certainly something both Jane and I don't take for granted at all, like the amount of support and backing that our members have given us, and even through changes, you know, it's scary. It's scary going to your membership base and saying, hey, look, we're doing this at the moment, but we don't think it's working how we want it to, directly in line with our values and what we want to stand for, and the results that we want to get you guys, we're going to go down this avenue, you know, and through that transition, especially seeing a lot of members just go, we back you, you know, we trust in you to be able to guide us through this. And yeah, again, man, it's just something that I know I don't take for granted, and I know that you're the same.
For sure. I really feel like it's been, the community aspect has been a big neutralizer in regards to people on the gym floor, and there's no hierarchy. You've got world-class athletes who are training here to literally make Olympic Games and compete at the national level. And then you've got someone who wants to run their first ever 2K run on the weekend. And they're on the same playing field. They're having the same conversations.
Yeah.
There's not a hierarchy, and I like that. I really like that, and I respect that, and that's what I wanted to create as well, because it's not taking away from one person working harder than the other per se, but at the end of the day, we're all people and we have our separate goals, and relative to what that looks like in our life, that doesn't mean there has to be a hierarchy in terms of when you walk in. You know, I used to hate that feeling of you walk through a gym door actively wanting to better yourself, then you feel this pressure or you feel this weight that you don't belong there. You're not skilled enough, you're not strong enough, you don't fit in with the rest of the people who train here. That sucks. That's a terrible feeling. And for people to not feel confident to walk in a gym space and just be like, I deserve to be here just like everyone else. I think that's really special. And I think more communities need to work on that aspect of that inclusiveness. You know, again, you can't be for everyone, you have to be for someone. But I think that someone doesn't have to come to their level of fitness. You know, I think that's where you can kind of neutralize that, and instead you can be for someone who wants to fit in with everyone else and wants to feel included and wants to have a crack just like everyone else does.
Yeah, I think that's where our model is really cool, is that it can appeal to everyone depending on whatever goal it is that they're working towards. And the people that we program for at an elite level that are competing against the best in the world in their chosen sport are literally getting the same service as the person that wants to nail their first bench press PB, or wants to nail their first 2K run or 5K run. The check-in process that we give them, the updates, the program breakdown, the interaction on the gym floor, as soon as people step through here, there is no ego. That gets completely dissolved and everyone's just on the same playing field.
Oh man, what would I say to 25-year-old Jaden?
Be prepared to work as hard as you've ever had to make this work, definitely. But be prepared to create something that is going to have an impact on the rest of your life. Like, I know the experiences that I've been able to have up until this point and all the years moving forward have played such a pivotal impact on creating the person that I am today. And I'm not perfect, but I found a lot of peace in the person that I have become and what I stand for, who I am, how I want to show up, and the impact that I want to have on people around me. And the experiences throughout this last 2.5 years have been a big part of that.
Something that I always come back to is the level of success or achievement that you're striving to obtain is directly in line with the amount of resistance that you're willing to face. And I would remind myself of that because we went through a lot of resistance being anything to push you back from doing the thing that you want to do. And that's always been something that I've drilled into my head now of as soon as things start becoming hard or tough, I recognize that the amount of resistance I'm willing to face will directly align with that level of success or achievement or whatever it might be, how you define it. So I would remind myself of that because I believe I was always willing to do hard things, but ironically, what makes something hard is how hard it is. And until you're actually in it, you don't realize that. So I would remind myself of that because it's been worth it. But yeah, it was fucking hard.
It almost makes you, which I love that approach mentally, but when resistance comes up in your life, you almost welcome it in a way, right?
Yeah.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Tend to do that a bit, don't we?
Yeah, fuck. We've also just morphed into the one person we've
Because we
learned.
spend every day together.
And then we have like more than 2 days apart. I'm like, what's doing? Want to hang out?
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Good.